Okay, should we get started then? Okay, very good. I want to first of all apologize. They say that a speaker should never apologize for anything, but I want to break all the rules here. I want to apologize that we have the sort of intrusion of a camera because we are taping a video for our TV channel. So we're putting on some videos for the websites. So we have the intrusion of that, so I apologize to you for that. But let's start then by first welcoming all of you. Thank you very much for being here. I know it's a very busy conference, and we have all these wonderful things going on. And I want to begin by being very grateful to all of you that are participating to actually take the time, because this is truly a wonderful opportunity for me to get to know all of you. Let me tell you just briefly a little bit about myself. I am the president of the Brazilian Anti-Aging Medical Society. I actually started my career as a double board certified surgeon. And so my life has always been in the arena of the mainstream medicine. So most of you would say, wait a minute, so what is a surgeon doing in a chiropractic conference, and what are we here as our objective? Well, part of this whole entire transformation for me was the fact that I had a very large surgical practice, and practically one of the top in the United States. We saw 120 patients a day, and half of the hospital was dedicated just to Dr. Thai's practice. And so we did reconstruction of the foot and ankle and leg. What happens in this huge, big practice is that the one thing that no one ever wants to talk about is that the doctor is miserable. And that happens over and over again in lots of practice, and pretty much even in chiropractic, I'm sure. So what has happened in my situation is that I was a very sick camper, and I made a conscious effort to change from my practice to a more holistic approach where I was writing prescriptions for everything. Now in my practice, and I'm still on the surgical staff of a major hospital, I served as a chief examiner for the doctors in my state of Michigan. I no longer today write even 1% of the number of prescriptions that I used to. So I have shared with you here an extraordinary transformation in my own life. And I think this is wonderful for you as a model, because I see that in chiropractic, things are changing. And a lot of chiropractors are coming to me and saying that, look, I mean, all of our reimbursements are changing. They are cutting back on the payments and the benefits for our patients. And so what I am doing today is to share with you an extraordinary opportunity for you to participate in the mainstream of medical health in a way that it's outstanding for chiropractors. I want to tell you that it is absolutely a benefit of chiropractors to utilize their very well renowned profession of natural health to make this transition. Anti-aging and aging is one of the major part of our life in terms of the medical society and the population overall. We have more aged, over 50 years of age, people in America than ever in history of mankind. We have a bubble of baby boomers that are now demanding health care, demanding longevity, demanding the quality of life where we never had before to deal with. So what we have essentially is that you have about 70 million women who are in menopause, and you have approximately 50 million men who are in andropause. So if you take a look at your client base, you're talking about 110 million people in America alone who has no treatment plan from the mainstream medicine. Look at the opportunity for chiropractors, because there are no prescriptions for the hot flash. There are no prescriptions for the severe anxieties and problems. So what are the MDs doing? What are the doctors doing for you today? What are they doing for their patients? When they come with all of these symptoms, what they are saying is, well, that's part of you getting older. Well, that is not a good explanation. It's certainly not satisfying to any of the patients. And what we can do today is utilizing natural supplements, natural herbs and vitamins and minerals, we can resolve those problems within a week. So the real problem of MDs writing prescriptions for antidepressants for menopause patients and for aging problems is not an acceptable treatment plan. So what I wanted to share with you is that many of the doctors who have talked to me about the crisis that is going on in chiropractic, I will tell you that the opportunity is still there, because there is an enormous wealth of philosophy that is behind the ancient thinking of what a crisis is. John Kennedy pointed out that in the Chinese culture and in our language, we are pictogram. Chinese people have thousands of years created the pictogram of what a word of crisis means. And it is made up of two words. The first word is obvious, that in any crisis you have a danger that is extremely important for you to be aware of. But within that second word, within the Chinese language, crisis gives you an opportunity. And the opportunity is for you to be someone that is extremely powerful, that is extraordinary in the health community. Chiropractors have that God's gift to be able to be helpful to the whole entire public community, because you are already born and genetically inclined to have natural health for all of your patients. I wanted to share with you that life in aging is very, very fast. In fact, I wanted to show you that a little video. A little video showing about how our life passes by. Well, life is short. So, I thought that video was extraordinarily appropriate for my life, because I don't know about you, but as I'm getting older, I've noticed that time is flying so fast. It's amazing. I mean, I don't know where it goes. I mean, I wake up. The last thing I remember is that I had something for breakfast, a bowl of cereal, and then I'm already going to bed. It's horrible, because it's truly amazing to me how fast life passes us by. And what I want you to be aware is that as we age, all sorts of complications and all sorts of symptoms starts to show. And I wanted to basically share with you, I chose a few of my models of what I consider to be an interesting for you to take a look at. Because the truth is, if you look at it, is that anti-aging and all of the technology that is available on health for aging population and for us who are getting older, has always been there. It has been used by the Kennedys. It has been used by the Pope. It has been used by all the Winston Churchills and the royalties of England. So we have always had anti-aging, but it's only been available heretofore to people who were wealthy and famous. Now, I think that it's about time that we actually shared this with the whole population. Anti-aging is for the mass of the public. It is for all of us. And we really deserve it and we need it because the health cost of not taking care of yourself is getting to the point where we just economically, as a country, cannot afford it any longer. So my point of it is to show you Sylvester Stallone is that at 68 years of age, he is still extraordinarily productive. He is still winning Oscars. He's still making movies, and is one of my heroes. And the reason that I chose him is that look at his physique and what a productive person, where we used to think about having to basically sit around at 65 and retire and be in some old age home drooling with a big giant diaper. I mean, this is no longer the case. And also the reason that I have chose him as a model for you is because like him, I too also am 68 years of age. So I think that it is extraordinary because this year we're going to be writing 3 books. Every single week I travel to some place around the world. I'm going to be next week going to Brazil to do a huge big conference just like this, where I'm the president and speaker, where we're having 50 international speakers come to participate in a natural health. And the month after, I'm going to be flying to China, in Taiyuan, where I will be speaking at the International Conference of Gerontology and Geriatrics. So we are actively participating, and the world is absolutely focused on the problems of aging because we have such a large population. Just in case that you think that I'm only picking on the men here, I want to show you probably one of the best specimens of what anti-aging can do. I mean, look at Raquel Welch. I mean, of course, I loved her when she was only 25, but because, I was a little kid and she was everything to me. But what I'm saying to you is that she, at 73 years old, look at the hair, look at the body, look at the quality of skin. What you want to see, and all of you chiropractors are extraordinary in your ability to visualize your patients by the posture that they have, by the quality of their skin, by the quality of their hair. And she is not only extraordinarily beautiful and she's retaining at 73 years old, but she is extremely intelligent, as all of you already know, and talented. Now, to last, I want to show you my hero. Here it is, Sean Connery, at 84 years of age. Now that's pretty incredible. At 84 years of age, and look at the quality that this gentleman has been able to keep. And what is creating this is the ability for you to actually prevent those kind of conditions and problems that plague all of us within the society. So I will say that how many of you young ladies here wouldn't mind having a date with him and go to dinner with him tonight? Anybody? Yes? Okay. So you're all smiling. So, and you would have never, I'm pretty sure, 10 years ago, you would have never dreamed that you would have probably accept a date with an 84-year-old man. But here it is, showing you how things have truly changed in our society. The old thinking must be changed because we have a new paradigm now. This old thinking about us all sitting in the old age home with a giant diaper and not recognizing our grandchildren or our loved ones, it's really not the quality of life, because you can live to be 90 years old, but if you don't know who the hell you are, it's a problem. So the quality of life matters to all of us. We make a distinction about it. The new thinking is much to our advantage available today, because we know how we can prevent these conditions. Because let's face it, all of us know that genetically we're exactly the same. Exactly the same when we were young and what you happen to be today. But what I wanted to show you is what happened. You have the same parents, you're genetically the same, but yet you are practically a different person. In your ability to do things, in your energy level, in your passion for life, in your optimism for life, all of these things are part of what aging changes. And you don't have to be. This is what's so important, is that you don't actually have to be an expert in aging for you to understand and see it every single day. All you have to do is take a look at the mirror. Because let's face it, you are looking at the largest organ in the human body. The largest organ in the human body is the skin. And the skin make the changes that occurs at the skin level are exactly the same changes that occur in your liver. It is exactly the same changes that occur in your brain. It is exactly the same changes, because those wrinkles that you see here on the skin and the loss of collagen and loss of elastin is exactly the same changes that happens in your lung, in your alveoli. Because when you lose elasticity of the alveoli, that's why you cannot take a deep breath. That's why your tidal volume is smaller as you get older. If you notice, they don't take a strong, deep breath. They actually pant like a little dog. They pant because they don't have the elasticity in their lung. So what I wanted to show you is that these liver spots that everybody talks about, take a look in the back of your hand or on the décolletage area, and if you have those dark spots in your face around the skin, guess what? Those identical dark spots are in your brain. Those identical dark spots are on your liver. Those dark spots are not liver spots. These dark spots are advanced glycation end product, a short for age. In advanced glycation, what it is, if you want to really learn, is that it's about the excess sugar that you have been eating and the carbohydrate that you have been living on. And that's our diet in America, is basically, if you walk into any place, any restaurant, it is mostly carbo. And what happens is that excess sugar, it crisps your protein. That excess sugar, when you see caramelization, have you ever seen a pot of sugar get on the stove and it starts to melt and it gets that dark brown look? That is the dark brown look that you see right here. Those are the spots that are growing on the side of your face. And it is the same loss of tissue integrity. So we have these losses on your blood vessel. So think about the fact that as you get older, you have hypertension, very common. Why do you have hypertension? Why do you have these complications? Because you lost the same elasticity. And the diabetics have the same identical complication. So you can actually understand and be right there for your patients and be able to save and help them. So I wanted to start by asking all of you a very simple question, because I know that all of you probably get asked this frequently. How old are you? Now, I want to make a distinction. I don't mean how old are you by showing me your driver's license, because I know that you know your chronological age. You are doctors. We understand that. We understand you're smart. But what I'm asking you is a very different kind of question. I'm asking you is that how old are you biologically? Because that is really the relevant question. It's not how old are you in terms of chronology as we know. This 83-year-old patient is vital. She swims every day. She has dance classes. She goes out to socializes. She has crochet classes. She has all sorts of activities that she absolutely loves. And it is a beautiful lady because she is so healthy and she is full of energy. And she's 83. And this guy here, maybe some of you have met this person. Not him, but someone like him. He's 27 years old. And he schleps around like he is absolutely at the last stage of terminal life. He can't get himself up with, it's just totally impossible to work with someone like that if you've ever seen one at your workplace. They have no enthusiasm for anything, they don't want to do anything, and they have a negative attitude. Those are the problems of aging. This is not about chronological age. This is about aging. So what I wanted to do is question your biological age because I want you to understand that in order for you to know how is your body working and how is it that you are doing on a muscular level, on an intellectual level, emotional level, you depend on something that made you what you are today. You are what you are today because of the hormones that you started to have and produce when you were a teenager. During those days, you had extraordinary energy. You could dance all night and work all day, and you thought that you would never die. Ask one, and they will say, I will live forever. They all believe that they are eternal. And the reason for that is because of the fact they feel great because they have so much hormones. It's running wild in their body. They are in love with anything that walks by. Whoa, look at that girl. It's just something that it is innate in them because of all the hormones running. That's how you got as tall as you are. And that's how you have the body shape that you have. Why? Because God gave you those hormones. If you change that, you change you. So what I wanted to tell you is that for all your patients, you can run a simple saliva test. These are non-invasive. You don't want blood tests because blood tests for hormones are a lie. 97% of all the hormones that you run in your blood are hormones that are bound and are going to be excreted. Why would you want to know about hormones that doesn't work anymore? They're only 3 to 5% maximum of the hormones that are in your blood that actually still are working, that are still going to be used. So why would you want to measure all of the hormones that are gone? It's like if you went and bought a box of batteries, and out of the 100 batteries that you got such a good deal about, I got, $2 for 100 batteries. Oh, what a great deal. But you don't know that 98 of all those batteries are used and can't use now anymore. So now you have to measure each one of them to discard them. That's a pain. So what you want to do with saliva is that saliva only measures what is actively still working in your body. It's not about the 98% of albumin-bound or protein-bound hormones. So saliva is much more accurate in the testing. And the reason they do salivary testing with us is because I actually am the one that write all the textbooks. Having 14 textbooks that I have written, I can tell you that I know a little bit about it. And what happens is that we help all of those doctors who in the beginning doesn't know how to interpret. Remember, it's not the testing that's important. That's useless. It's just a piece of information. What is really powerful in this, and what it is that you really want to know, is what do I do with this information? And how is it that I create a protocol for my patients? And I can do that and help you and guide you and be your back office person to help you to accomplish that. This is a full panel: cortisol, progesterone, testosterone. There are 3 different estrogens we're going to talk about. DHEA. I'm going to talk about those with you because I want you to understand to use only natural anti-aging. These are the hormones that are made from yam, potato. That's right. Phenomenal. No drugs, nothing synthetic. It's an absolute down the chiropractic alley. It is for you to actually be the centerpiece for the health care of the aged people in America. No drugs. And this biohormone replacement is now well known. It is now being discussed in every television and all of the radio. You should now take advantage of this. You should take this opportunity in this change for chiropractic to actually think about it. They don't even care whether you have insurance, you take insurance or not. They will pay cash to get rid of their sweating. I mean, it's no fun. All you have to do is wake up 2 nights, drenched in sweat, and I guarantee you that you'll be running to the first doctor that can actually solve this problem. So what I wanted to do is talk to you about one other thing. Don't use these hormones orally. Only use them transdermally because there is a first-pass technology. You don't want it to go through the liver. When you put anything in your mouth, it goes through the liver, and you will overload the liver, and the liver will totally neutralize and digest and metabolize all of those hormones that are supposedly active and bioidentical. You're supposed to use it right away. And if you put it on the skin, it gets absorbed into your lymphatics, into your blood system, and it goes directly to go to work right away. We know from the research that we have published that it goes to work within 10 minutes. It is very powerful. It's an extraordinary ability for all of us to relieve all of the symptoms for our patients. These are the panels. These are the reports. So it will show you the female range, the male range, what is the laboratory results. This is a report that I generate. It's not a report that the laboratory. The laboratory just gives you a number and it gives you a range. But you know, just because you are in the range, it doesn't mean that you are normal. It doesn't mean that you are optimal. Remember that as physicians, we are not relegated to be a secretary just to see if a number is within a range. They insult my intelligence when they even put an arrow saying this is low and this is high. They even tell you, oh, you mean to tell me that as a doctor I cannot take a number, 3.5, that's within the range and know that's low? I mean, come on, excuse me. So what I want to do is to actually ask you to look at how to interpret it, not in terms of ranges like all the doctors out there does. But what I want you to do is to optimize, is to look at it and say, is this optimal for you? Because that's what we are looking for. Your patients deserve to have optimal ranges, not just normal ranges. Because when you look at the research, we can actually show you that the research, when you take the range, the full range of a laboratory, if you take and divide these range in 4 segments, the upper range, 1/4, and the lower range, 1/4, there is an extraordinary incidence of diseases at the lower 1/4 range. And that is true for all your biohormones as well as true for your vitamins. For example, vitamin D. When you are at a low range, you run a much higher risk, and I will talk about that in a minute. So what I wanted to do is show you here the first biohormone. It's wonderful to see that DHEA is a hormone of youth. This is the hormone that we as young people were absolutely phenomenal. Look at it. When you are in your 20s and 30s, look. It is peaking it is at its best production. And you feel great because of it. Just think about it when you were in your 20s. Your body was better. And you had the energy level. And you had a beautiful skin. Everything worked for you. But look at what happens as you get older. Remember that every 10 years, you lose 15 to 20% of the production of your biohormones. It doesn't matter whether you're a woman or a man. But I can tell you that past the age of 20, every 10 years you can see that it becomes lower and lower and lower. And no wonder, here is at 50 years of age. By the time you are at 70, the darn thing is down here. And if you take it across, that's when you were a child or when you were a baby. And that's why you go back to being on diapers. Because you go back to being a baby. And your mind is gone and your body is gone. Everything hurts. And what doesn't hurt doesn't matter because it won't work anyway. I'm just telling you the stuff that is very important for you to understand. That is why you have the energy level. I mean, I was just here yesterday listening to a doctor who was giving this wonderful total approach to body posture. He was talking about how to exercise the muscles so that you can have the beautiful body posture. And you know, obviously, that the young people have better posture than old people. As you get older, what happens? Correct? So you have this bending forward, your center of gravity is moved, your head is moved forward, so you now have to hold everything up. But why? The one thing that I thought about, and that he never covered, was why? Why do you have this problem and practically on every older person? Just about every. And now I'm telling you that we have very precociously old youngsters like that 28-year-old that walks around going, oh my God, I can't do it. Well, that's because if you run his salivary test, it will show that his biological age is 80 years old. And that's really where the problem is. So you cannot look at the chronological age. You really got to go to where the level is, because that level is the one that actually tells you what is the true biological age. But he didn't say that the reason that older people walk around like this, and you tell him to stand up and he thinks that he is standing up. And the reason that he walks around like this is because he lost all of the tonicity of the muscles. He lost the tone of the muscles. And if you touch him, he does not have a hard muscle. He has a soft, gooey, bubbly muscle. It looks like butter. Well, because he lost what? Testosterone. I'm going to talk about that. I wanted to show you that it's not about Paul Tai. I am not here trying to tell you something. I'm a messenger. I'm a scholar. I teach at the university. I'm a professor at several universities. I write several textbooks. Matter of fact, I write textbooks for plastic surgeons. The master series of plastic surgery in the world, one of them is mine. I write all of the books because that's what my students want. I teach primarily doctors. I teach primarily MDs. That's my audience. So what I want you to see is that everything that I say to you is based on evidence. It's not about opinion. Dr. Tai's opinion doesn't matter. I just want you to know that, okay? I just want you to be aware that I am not here trying to tell you what my opinion is so that you buy into it. But look, aging is about the New York Academy of Science, immune deficiency, obesity, memory loss, neuroscience. These, depression, they are all about loss of DHEA. Obesity loses DHEA because why? Because one of the metabolites of DHEA burns fat. It's incredible. But if you take it by mouth, like all of these other crazy people that don't know the science, if you take it by mouth, it overloads, it's toxic to your liver, and then you don't get any of the benefits. Why? Because the DHA gets bound by the liver. So once it's bound, it's not going to work. Do you understand what I'm saying? So you want fresh, usable DHEA. Look at all of the different, it even affects thyroid. I want you to see this because I want you to see the changes in all of us. Now, I know I'm showing you women with menopause, but we have men here. And I want you to understand that we have, in Time Magazine just last week, this is how interesting anti-aging is for the world right now. And this is why all of you should be in this arena. Because you have 110 million people waiting for you to open your doors so that they can come to you and ask for help. It's an amazing thing to harvest. Men, right now, on Time Magazine, at the front page, they're calling it men, menopause. Menopause. So that it's not just menopause, but it is also for men, because we call them andropause. So what I want you to see is that as we go through the changes are because you have lost the biohormone that you had when you were young. The very biohormone that made you as tall and made you as beautiful. So what I want you to see is that we have tremendous amounts of people that are needing your help, and they are waiting for you. And these menopausal symptoms that have no treatment with the prescription, there is no treatment for it. They have Band-Aids. They give them what? What is the, do you know, we did a study in the American Medical Society, the American Medical Association, and we did a study with the British Medical Association. Do you know what is the number one treatment by MDs for menopause is? 80% of their patients get antidepressants. We don't have 80% of depressed women around America. We just don't. They are using it incorrectly, and they are using antidepressants for everything. Because if they don't know what it is, they write you a prescription for antidepressant because they think, they won't say it out loud, but they think you're just plain crazy. And what the truth is that they are crazy. And so what I want you to do is know one more thing. I'm going to give you one more pearl. Most people think that the reason you have symptoms of menopause, such as night sweats and hot flashes and headaches and mood swings, is because you lack estrogen. And that is baloney. And I know that you guys are going to say, wait a minute, Dr. Tai, everybody knows that you go through menopause because you lack estrogen. Well, that's true. As you go through menopause, you not only lack estrogen, but I'm going to talk to you about progesterone. But the problem with the symptoms is not because of lack of estrogen or low level of estrogen, but because the cyclical production of estrogen. Reason you get hot flashes is not because you don't have estrogen or not making estrogen, but it is because you have huge, big cyclical of production. Here it is. Very low production in the morning, very high production in the afternoon, and so therefore you have these roller coasters. And the more differentiation you have in the body of different levels of estrogen, the more symptoms you have. And that is a real pearl to all of you. Because if you know that, you will know that some women, as well as men, they will no longer have the symptoms of menopause once they have totally lost the estrogen. Women say to you, how many times have you heard women say to you, oh, I don't have menopause anymore. Oh, I stopped that 4 years ago. And I go, you have? I mean, you're starting to have periods again? Oh, no, not that. I mean, I just don't have the symptoms. Yes. What they mean by menopause is that the symptoms are gone, but they are still in menopause, and their body is still deteriorating, and their tissues are still shrinking. They shrink so bad that the vagina is so small that you cannot put a pencil through it. And how is it that these women are going to show and express their love to their husband, and the husband thinks that they don't love him anymore? It's nothing to do with love. It has to do with the fact that when you lose those hormones, you lose tissues with it. And not only is the vagina, but I'm talking about brain shrinkage. I'm going to talk to you about all of this because there is a real tissue problem. And when you have, for men and for women, the replacement, they go back to not sweating anymore. Their skin is younger. It's absolutely wonderful. And then you don't have to wait until you are in menopause. By the way, in perimenopause, even in the 40s, you can already start to use natural herbs that actually make a difference. It actually makes a huge, big difference in your life. And you can be that person for all your patients. Suzanne Summers is actually quite lovely. She really is, looks exactly like that. I lectured together with her. She has my book, I have hers. She is an extraordinary woman at 68 years old. She still works every single day and travels all over the world speaking about natural biohormone. So I want to congratulate her. I want to talk about the 3 different estrogens. All of you think that estrogen is only one hormone. It isn't. I want to make sure that you as physicians understand that there are 3 estrogens. Estrone, which actually is the worst of the estrogen that causes the cancer, not from the estrone itself, but it is from the metabolite. And estradiol, which is the good estrogen that actually makes you young, protects you from heart disease, protects you from Alzheimer's. It is the estrogen. And estriol, my favorite of all the estrogens. They are, to me, 3 sisters, the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I think that estriol is the good estrogen because estriol is very, very harmless, and it does all the work that a woman needs. Estriol is produced in large quantity during your pregnancy. And you know, if you know nature at all, you come to the conclusion that God would never, ever produce a whole bunch of hormones that would be harmful to the baby. So therefore, progesterone and estriol, which is very, very high levels during pregnancy, are the best hormones that your body can produce. So here it is, wonderful, natural herbs that actually is primarily estriol that actually prevents cancer. Estriol is actually one of the metabolites that prevents cancer. So I want you to be aware, this is Pueraria mirifica, and it's a phytoestrogen. It is a potato, and it's wonderful as one of the most effective hot flash killers of all time. It's a woman's anti-aging. And if you love to see this, you will absolutely use it for all your patients, and they will be going totally mad and crazy about you, and just amazing results that you're going to get. And they will love you to death, and they will send you tons of other women, because one of the great things about women is that they love to talk over coffee. You know, they congregate and they start to tell each other about, and so, you know, Joan will say, "Oh my good, I can't believe it, Joyce. I mean, you look fantastic. What have happened to you?" And so she will start telling about how she came to your office and about how you helped her. So they will send you tons of other women just like them. Pereira studies show that there is reducing all of the bone turnover so that there is less problems with osteoporosis. You can take very large doses and it has absolutely no side effects from it. The research shows that there is no toxicity. It's published in a medical journal in several different, they even take it as high as 1,000% dose and still no problem. The Pereira, it stops all the hot flashes, sweating. It absolutely returns the women to a more youthful day when she actually had all of her estrogens and progesterone. So what I suggest is for you to take a look at the publications from the department that comes from the hospital and the Department of Obstetrics and Gynecology. These are extraordinary publications, and it helps the skin. It's absolutely wonderful. If you put it on your skin, it keeps your skin just youthful, and all the small little wrinkles disappear. It's phenomenal. It's one of the best things that a woman can have. I want to talk to you also an extraordinary friend of the women, and they don't really talk about it very much, and I think that it is a real pity that women doesn't understand progesterone. Progesterone is the major protector for women in their cancer battle. Here it is, Dr. Joe Hargrove from the Vanderbilt Medical School, showing that progesterone protects for breast cancer, uterine fibroids, and ovarian cysts. It's amazing that small little secrets, these little pearls that you can actually use to help your patients, that they are dying to get to you if they just knew that you could help them. Can you imagine the amount of women with uterine cysts and breast cysts? Oh my gosh. I mean, I go to the hospital and I can tell you that the whole board on my surgical team, it's always about breast cyst removal. In fact, it pays more than the BMW. It buys them a house, it pays for the office. I mean, removing breast cyst in women, which is 99% benign, is the most lucrative procedure that a doctor can do. And I'll tell you what else. It is an absolute farce because you don't need to do it. You can use progesterone and iodine and iodide, not iodine only, but the iodide, and I'll talk about it in a minute, must be organic, and you will absolutely get rid of it in a very short time. So this is an extraordinary biohormone. Progesterone removes all of the anxieties, depressions. All of these women who come to me with horrible nightmares at night, crying, where they don't know why they're crying. I mean, just think about how horrible life, the quality of life for that woman. And all it is because her progesterone levels are extremely low, and therefore creating all of these imbalances and problems. It calms you. It's absolutely phenomenal to calm a woman. It's a little bit of progesterone. And one more thing, if you ever seen a woman wake up with water retention, you know the nightmare that is. I mean, you can't get your ring off. I mean, you're swollen, your eyes look puffy, you look like you've been dancing all night, and you haven't, and you're just having a rough day. And instead of running to your doctor for a prescription of diuretic, which as you know has all sorts of problems and side effects, all you need is a couple pumps of progesterone. And you will not believe it, how wonderful it is. Yeah, I mean, it will literally, within 24 hours, get rid of 4 pounds of water. I mean, you'll pee like a fire hydrant. It's amazing. I mean, here it is. Dr. Lauren Fitzpatrick from the Mayo Clinic. This is not Dr. Ty. I mean, you don't have to buy into my rhetoric. I mean, it's not me telling you this. These are doctors and publications that scientifically published. So here it is. I want to talk to you briefly about testosterone deficiency because those are the ones that create the problem of posture, that create the problem of older men missing steps. You know that they fall a lot. Why is it that older people fall a lot? Because they lose proprioception. They lose depth perception. They lose the ability to have balance. And why is that? It's because of the fact that the muscles, the spindles in the muscles, have proprioceptive receptors that actually can tell. You can tell that you ask an older person to stand on 1 foot and cross their leg and see how many of you can actually do this and stand like this. And the reason is because as you lose the level of testosterone, you will actually lose those ability to have those proprioceptive responses. So therefore, you lose tonicity. Goes hand in hand with testosterone, DHEA, and thyroid. Those are the 3 primary. And it's absolutely, it's going to be a lecture that I'm going to give. I teach at the Logan University. I'm going to be giving a lecture, a weekend seminar there for obesity and metabolic X syndrome. I'm going to show you new research on how to melt fat. I'm going to do that Sunday. If you are available, Sunday morning at 8 o'clock, I'll meet you there with a cup of coffee at the large ballroom venue. I'm going to be talking about how to burn and melt fat for your patients. If you ever seen a horse stampede into your office of people wanting to lose weight, just wait until you see this. Yeah, it will be amazing for you. But testosterone deficiencies causes memory losses. They're the ones that heal slowly, bruised skin. Most people think about vitamin C, but in fact it is testosterone. Hunched posture, the lack of muscle tone, as I told you, the weight gain, lack of coordination, all of these are primary effects of lack of testosterone. And this, my friends, are my little groupie of friends with all of us with no testosterone. And I was one of them. I lost over 50 pounds because I was, you see that little guy over there, the small one over here? That's me. Okay? I had absolutely gained a tremendous amount of weight. Everything was shrinking. You know, when you lose hormones, everything shrinks. And it's like him, I was constantly looking for what the heck, I mean, where did it go? These things shrink and disappear. I had no libido whatsoever. My prostate was just killing me. I couldn't pee. I tell you, it was to the point where I had to give up my practice practically because I was falling asleep on my patients. I hated to get up to go to surgery. Hated. Now, there is nothing worse than a double board certified surgeon with 15 patients to do surgery all day and you can't get up to go to work. And I used to cuss all the way into the hospital. I mean, I tell you, it was the worst thing that you've ever seen. And that's because I had absolutely no testosterone. In my case, it started very young. I was in my 40s when I had these problems. And I used to walk around hunched like this. And my daughters used to say, "Stand up, Dad." And I used to tell them, "I am standing up." But what I want you to see is that this occurs not only because of the fact that they don't have the levels of testosterone, but because they are losing testosterone. And it's called aromatization. Aromatization is a real problem because aromatization does this. And that's what I had. An extraordinary loss of testosterone. When you lose testosterone, it aromatizes into estrogen. So now you got a double whammy. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? Does that make sense? Because when you start to have lower levels of testosterone, higher levels of estrogen, let me tell you something. I was effeminate as hell. And here it is. You see these striations here? My belly was just as big. I had a belly so big that I could never see my shoes because my belly was on the way. Because you see these? I had the most beautiful breasts for a male that you have ever seen. Mine was so pretty. I tell you what, I'm an ugly guy, and the girls used to walk by and they used to say, ugly guy, but pretty breast. I mean, my perky little things, I tell you, it was wonderful. If I could just buy a bra for it. But the problem is that we have this problem more and more. It is the epidemic among men. Breast in men is literally epidemic. The largest surgical procedure that the plastic surgeons are doing now is breast removal for men. They actually go in and they suck out the fat. But the problem with doing that, and this is why we need chiropractors in order to stand up and to teach their patients, and for you to actually make a difference, is that when you do that, when you do the surgery, it looks great for 1 year. But after that, what happens? You never fixed what? You never fixed the root of the problem. You never fixed the aromatization. So I'm telling you, within 2 years, those pretty perky breasts are going to be back again and back to the surgeon again. And that's how he builds his 10,000 square feet house. Because he gets people over and over again because he never fixes them. And I always say, the most lucrative practice is a doctor who never fixes anything. Because they keep coming back, hoping that they will get a better result. And I'd say to you that you can literally make a difference because I had this problem. And you can stop aromatization because you can excrete estrogen by using calcium D-glucarate. You can use and remove the aromatization enzymes by using inhibitors, and they are all natural. Eating broccoli, for example, eating cabbage, and all of the supplements that the herbs and the active ingredients from them are in these anti-aromatase. And they work extraordinarily well. So even if you don't remove them, you protect the cellular receptors from grabbing those aromatizations. So you will become a much better in your health, and you become much better at the male portion of it. You see, the prostate supplementation using, again, anti-aromatization, because what happens with prostate enlargement, and I had the worst. I'm the guy that suffered tremendously with that, is that all of that estrogen goes to the prostate, because the prostate to a man is the uterus to the woman. It's things that come from the same identical mesodermal layer. You see, we think that we men and you women are very different. We are not. We are very much alike. In fact, as you get older, guess what? You become one. The guys become more effeminate. They cry on the movies more. And the ladies, they get tougher. You know? So what I'm telling you is that you can fix prostate much easier with supplementation than with drugs. I want to talk to you very briefly about cortisol dysfunction. And because all of you know, and we all have severe stress in our lives. Today, we are multitasking all the time. You can never do just one thing. You're always seeing patients, but you're answering texts and they're writing you emails, the Skype is on, your secretaries are asking you what to write for that patient that is complaining, and you're trying to do 6 treatment rooms all at one time. Everything is going on and you are stressed. And when you are stressed, your cortisol absolutely goes crazy. And you know what? In the beginning, I hate to tell you this, all of you, and me, I'm the biggest culprit of all. I was a cortisol junkie. I loved it. What do you think? I mean, we're in Orlando. What do you think they pay all that money to go into that crazy spinning wild ride that they take? I mean, it just scares the bejeebies out of my pocket. I tell you, I can't get up there. I mean, I'll start crying before I even get in the car. But they love that stuff. They love it because why? Because it stresses them out and they got epinephrine running everywhere and their cortisol is shooting right through their brains. I mean, they're just dripping with cortisol when they walk out of there. And so what I wanted you to know is that creates major complications. And what I have found, instead of you living like that, is that I have discovered an extraordinary extract. It is a leaf, a little tiny leaf that grows in the pampas in Argentina. These are the pampas where small leaves are extracted. And that leaf, that young grass leaf, produces a precursor to the serotonin. And it has no taste, and you can drink the whole darn thing. It has no side effects. It has no complications whatsoever. But I tell you what, it is the most incredible result that you have ever seen. You take a small dropper full, and you feel as if life finally works. You feel happy. It's not like a ha 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 type of happy. It's not a goofy happy. You're not walking around going, oh, wow, well, look at that light, I mean, it's not that kind of a thing. It's a really nice, you are in control. You feel like things that are stressful just kind of runs off your back, and you take time to resolve them. They're not anything huge that you cannot take care of. So I will tell you that it improves. People, have you ever met people that go to sleep and they complain that they wake up in the middle of the night at 3 o'clock and they cannot go back to sleep? Have you ever met people like that? They say it all the time. They go, doctor, what can you do for me? Well, my sleep is crazy. I wake up at 3 o'clock and I'm wide awake. It's like if they're going to catch an airplane at 3 in the morning. It's like, wow, can't you actually go back to sleep? Well, no, I have to wait an hour, 2 hours before I can go back to sleep. So what I tell them now is very simple. There are a very simple protocol, natural, where all you have to do is put a little bit of melatonin transdermal on your face so that it goes directly to your brain without having to take the pills, go through the liver. You actually take a little extract of this, and it is absolutely phenomenal because once you deal with the cortisol abnormality that is being produced in the middle of the night when it is totally the wrong time. Do you understand? So what I want you to do is take a look at cortisol, because cortisol eventually goes from the hyper stage of cortisol where they are totally psyched up and they're crazy out of their mind of excitement. It turns ultimately into a severe fatigue. And that is called cortisol deficiency, chronic fatigue syndrome. This is so common because everyone is so hyped up on cortisol when they're young, and past the age of 20, 30s, bam, they just absolutely hit the bottom. And they have nothing but, and they cannot sit for more than 15, 20 minutes before they're just totally out. And if you ever seen those kind of people, that's what it is, adrenal fatigue. So what I want you to see is that adrenal fatigue can be combated. You can not only take adrenal, Most people just want to go back to taking care of the adrenal. That's nice. But adrenal doesn't get transformed like that. Take it from me. I treat chronic fatigue all the time. I'm one of the most successful authorities on chronic fatigue in the world. And I can tell you that you cannot just go directly to the adrenal and reverse it. You have to go around it. You have to support it. And everybody wants one pill. Now, this is very American. And I don't know that you understand this, but I know the chiropractors wouldn't do this. Everybody wants one pill, and it solves all the problem. There is no such thing. Because we are talking about natural. We're talking about how you can support it. So the one thing that all adrenal fatigue patients have, a severe deficiency, because of the epigenetic changes of cortisol deficiency, causes inability of your body to utilize vitamin B12. B complex and B12 is an extraordinary vitamin, but it's very difficult. Well, everybody just says, oh, but Dr. Tai, but I'm taking vitamin B. I take a one a day. I take a one a day vitamin, therefore I'm taking vitamin B. And so they say, well, it doesn't help me at all. There's some other people that are a little bit more intelligent and says, well, but I'm taking an extra vitamin B complex. But it's a pill. But the only problem that you as physicians need to understand is that we have a metabolic pathway. And the metabolic pathway for vitamin B12 is that it needs intrinsic factor before it can be transported from your stomach into your bloodstream. And then we have to have the epigenetics of the cellular material in order to utilize the vitamin B and the B complex. And most importantly, if you buy all, and everybody wants not only the one pill to solve all the problem, but they want the one pill that is cheap. Everybody is so cheap. I mean, I actually think that sometimes we sound like a bird. Cheap, 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 cheap. They want cheap. And so what you do, you go buy vitamin B complex and vitamin B12. And you buy the cheapest vitamin B12 you can find in the grocery store, and you just start taking that. And you expect result. But they don't understand the vitamin B12, cheap ones, is called cyanocobalamin. Cyanocobalamin is not a working vitamin. Take note, I'm giving you pearls here. I think that this whole entire place needs to know cyanocobalamin is not a working vitamin. And when you have to methylate cyanocobalamin in order to make it work, you have to methylate it. So you make what? Methylcobalamin. And when you make methylcobalamin, you cleave cyano. So now you have what left over in your body after you methylate it? Cyanide. Congratulations. Your cheap, cheap, cheap just did you in. So now you have to detox all that cyanide. It is ludicrous, not knowing biochemistry and not knowing some simple facts and coming to this conference in order to learn it. And I'm here just pouring my heart out to you because I want you to know. I want you to help your patients. It gives you tremendous energy. I can tell you this, if you take 3 shots of that under your tongue, hold it for only 10, 20 seconds, I guarantee you that it's like if you took a 2-hour nap. Phenomenal. I mean, she's going like, because it works. I know that some of you have this extraordinary, so don't buy cheap vitamin. Methylamine, they're more expensive, but it's worth the money. But remember, you need to run an epigenetic test, a little brush of your cheek in order for you to understand whether you actually can utilize. And don't go around taking all those antioxidants thinking, oh, I'm taking antioxidants, so I must be cool. You're not cool. If you don't know what you're doing, you need to run a genetic test to see if you are deficient of the antioxidants because your body doesn't know what to do with it. So I wanted to share with you a couple really cool things. I'm going to give you some pearls. This comes from 5,000 years of Chinese medicine. And I'll tell you what, those Chinese people have been playing with this for so long. They're all screwed up with it, but they really, really get it. And I tell you what, this is the first anti-aging supplement in the history, and it is used before only by the royal family because it was so expensive. And only the monks, they used to go all the way up to the mountains of Tibet. And in the mountains of Tibet, they would actually harvest this tiny little piece of leaf. This tiny. I'm talking about less than an inch. And they would go around on the ground in their forest, and they would look for this tiny little leaf. And this tiny little leaf is really cordyceps. Cordyceps is the most incredible herb to reverse chronic fatigue syndrome. It is incredible because the publications in the Journal of Applied Chinese Medicine shows that it increases the cellular energy by over 30%. It will knock down your fatigue factor by over 70%. It is incredible because it increases your autoimmune factors. The immunity improves by over 300%. So you are talking about all of the Chinese athletes at the Olympics. This is one of the only approved herbs that actually passes doping because it has no chemicals. It is all natural. And they take this, and by the way, if you have arrhythmia for your patients, this is incredible. I will tell you that I have a brother who was on 10 medications, 10 for arrhythmia. And the doctors were going to do an operation to do an ablation of his heart, cut out, burn parts of the heart in order to stop the arrhythmia. He was absolutely deadly afraid of it because he already had one open heart surgery. 36 years old. He already had his open heart surgery. And now, at the age of 50, he was going to go through it again. And all I did was took him off of all that medication. It started him on a very simple protocol of natural microminerals, 77 microminerals, vitamin B complex, which is absolutely necessary for the neural transmission of our body, and cordyceps. And don't buy cordyceps that are on the street, that are not fermented, because they need to be fermented in order to actually be absorbed, okay? So here is, and you need to look for Cordyceps ophioglossoides and Cordyceps militaris. There are 3 different species of cordyceps that we use, and they are well published in a medical journal. And they are absolutely phenomenal in terms, I wrote a book on it. And by the way, all the books that I have on anti-aging, which is the bestseller around the world, is on sale just for this event, 70% discount. So if you want one, come and I'll get you a book because you will absolutely find it phenomenal that it is used pretty much as a reference book because it has over 10,000 different medical journal citations on this book. But anyway, I want to talk very briefly about vitamin D because 12 o'clock. So we got 15 minutes and I'll be done. We cannot get enough sunshine. I know you're in Florida now, but most of us wear clothes. We are humans. We don't walk around naked. And in order for you to get any vitamin D of any significant level, let me give you the science. And the science is this. You got to be living below the 35th latitude, and you got to be naked in the middle of the day for a half an hour in the sun in order for you to get enough vitamin D. Now, unless you want to join the nudist colony to do this, I suggest that you take some supplementation because it's really simple. And you know what? In Europe, we're finding out that in some of the studies, 100% of the patients are deficient. In the hospitalized adults, 70 to 100% of the patients are deficient. And you're talking about the vitamin D is not a vitamin. I just want to make sure that you understand this. It's a misnomer. Thank God for misnomer. If you didn't call it a vitamin D, FDA would be right now saying that's illegal for you to touch it. Thank God for misnomers. Because they call it a vitamin, and therefore now you can use it. Vitamin D, people take it by mouth all the time. But they all have to understand that vitamin D was never taken orally. Never in history of human beings. We don't have any vitamin D in the food supply. Do you understand what I'm saying? There is no vegetable with vitamin D. Okay? Sorry about that. So your GI tract never been trained to absorb vitamin D. So there is, you don't even fathom the complications of taking vitamin D orally is because the fact that there is only a small 8-inch area of your 20-foot, 24 feet, our GI tract. And there's only 8 inches that it can actually absorb. It's in the ileocecal area. 8 inches. That's it. And so we see a lot of people taking vitamin D and they are not being absorbed. So what we've done is that we have done two things. We have created a vitamin D transdermal. So all you have to do is put it on your legs. You have beautiful legs then from vitamin D. And then also, it's absorbed through your skin. And then the number two is that we made a liposome vitamin D with vitamin K. D3 and K2 uses the same receptacles. And it is carried the same identical way. So therefore, they are synergistic. You will absolutely be mesmerized by how effective vitamin D3 and K2 works. So we created a phenomenal way for you to actually get vitamin D. And you know why? Because now we know that the autoimmune system, the immune system of a human being depends on the vitamin D receptor being stimulated. Now we know that, and the research has now proven that. So the macrophage that occurs from the system, it occurs only when the vitamin D is actually stimulated. So you can run a D3 test. They're non-invasive, it's only a little pinprick, so you can get those anytime you want. And there's also thyroid tests. And you know what? Most doctors will run a thyroid test on you. They will run a thyroid stimulating hormone test. That's kind of like, instead of taking a picture of the tree to see what's going on and how big the tree is, all they are doing is taking a picture of the shadow of the tree. Thyroid stimulating hormone is not even applicable. It's just what the pituitary produces, and it's not applicable to a thyroid patient. And so most of the time, the doctor's telling you, oh, you're normal. When you're not normal, obviously, because you're not even measuring the active thyroid. Because you have the T3s, the free T4s, the free T3s, the reverse T3s, and then you have also the TPO, which is the autoimmune diseases of thyroid. So you have to think in terms of how to help. But vitamin D and K is absolutely critical to osteoporosis, absolutely critical to heart disease, absolutely critical to preventing over 50 different kinds of cancers. And it's easy. All you have to do is take D3 with K2 at a very specific ratio. I wanted to show you here, published by the Journal of Gynecology and Obstetrics, that it reverses osteoporosis and reduces the fracture risk. Vitamin D3 and K2, protecting heart disease. It's extraordinary for the hypertensive and heart problem. It absolutely helps with most of the cancers, including liver cancer. So what I want you to do is take a good look at it. Now I want to talk to you briefly about circulation. Where there is no circulation, there is no life. This is obvious. And most people don't get it, how important it is to open the circulation to our body. Diabetics, it's about circulation. Amputations, it's about circulations. All of these, as we get older, we just don't have the kind of circulation that we used to. And therefore, even our libido is tied to the circulation. Does that make sense? So what I wanted to do here is show you how using a new nitric oxide producer called citrulline, and there's a lot of new interest in nitric oxide. They are now selling nitric oxide on internet and everywhere. It's all garbage. I've never seen one that really worked. But what I did was I found that this is extraordinary. I ran a test on myself. I took a thermography exam, and here it is. It's phenomenal. Look at this. Look at the dark fingers because of lack of circulation. Look at on my face, the areas of decreased circulation. Look at what happens within 20 minutes afterwards. Look. 20 minutes afterwards, it increased the circulation by over 37% to my hands, to my feet, to my face. It's an incredible. When you increase the circulation to your face, it increases circulation to your brain. And most of the memory losses that we have, most of the complications that we have, most of the libido problems we have, it's because of the fact that we don't have good circulation. This is an extraordinary test, an extraordinary result. And I wanted to just show you because I want you to understand nitric oxide. Now, pretty much for the last piece of it, I wanted to show you one of the great secrets, pearls of health that most people don't know about. And that's called reishi mushroom. And the problem with the reishi mushroom, it's not that you guys don't hear about it, because you heard about reishi mushroom. The problem with reishi mushroom is this. It cannot be absorbed. The problem with reishi mushroom is that you guys are going out and buying all of those reishi mushrooms in a capsule, and you're taking it, and guess what? You might as well just flush it down the toilet because you cannot absorb it. You know why? Because this is a piece of wood. And they grind a piece of wood and they give you sawdust. Yes, I'm sorry, but sawdust is what you're eating. And you can't, unless you're a cow and I don't know about you, you cannot digest cellulose. And the active ingredients of mushroom, of the reishi, is inside the sawdust. But I want you to know that we have been able to extract it. Now it's available in a liquid. It's extraordinary because you know why? Look, the meta-analysis for the study is that reishi mushroom is a very powerful anti-cancer. But more importantly, because it increases the natural apoptosis. Don't go playing around. You hear it all the time. Don't be a victim of marketing. Don't go playing around with telomeres, all because of the fact that somebody says, oh, I got this new telomere thing, and it will, it's anti-aging. Cancer is a problem of a telomere. When the telomeres don't work, you got cancer. So you got to be real careful what you play with. So apoptosis, the natural death of a cell, is a good thing. It's a good thing. If you don't have natural death of a cell, you're going to have what? You're going to have cancer. Do you really need that headache? Well, so what I wanted to do here is show you. Here, actually published in a medical journal, the Molecular Medicine. Here, reishi and melanomas. It's phenomenal because melanomas is one of the worst kind of cancer. We have today treatment for melanoma. We have treatment for cancer. Even in the terminal stage, we save over 50%. And within 8 weeks, they get to go home. Amazing new technology that does not require a chiropractor to use injections, does not require you to use any of those invasive procedures. No chemotherapy. Just using macrophage fatty acids. This is why I'm here, to bring you all of the extraordinary pearls and extraordinary technology. Oh, it's not about Paul Tai. It's about the publications. Look, it is published in all the medical journals. From China to clinical metastasis to international molecular medicine to oncology, all of them talk about it. reishi and prostate cancer. It prevents. It's simple. 2 dropperfuls, boing, done. Because you know why? It changes the membrane of the cells. When it changes the membrane of the cell, it actually becomes an oxygen magnet. And when there is oxygen on the cellular level, it's not about pH. pH is afterwards. When you have acidosis, it's already afterwards. It's kind of like rotten food. When you have rotten food, it's already, when it smells, it's already afterwards. But beforehand, you have to change the membrane. You have to be specific about the prevention. Atherosclerosis, amazing. The inner lining of your blood vessels go back to being baby soft. No more atherosclerosis. It literally works on helping to change liver cancer, liver health. And I'll tell you one specific thing about it. Before I move on, I wanted to give it this, not only to all you women who will love this idea. This pearl is special for you, but also for the guys. If you take this so that you know it's working, because many things that you take, you never know if it's working or not. You're just going like, you're taking this and you're hoping that the darn thing works, okay? And then, you know, the only reason is because they show you a picture of this beautiful actress and you think that you're going to be like her if you take it. I mean, that's not going to happen. I mean, I'm going to be ugly for the rest of my life. I don't care what I do. But I can tell you this much about if you take this. You might still be ugly like me, but the skin will be baby soft. I will promise you. It is amazing. And if you don't believe it, here, I got a real testimonial for you. Katie, say hello to everybody. This is Catherine Lee. She is 62 years old, okay? I want you to, later, if you have the time, just go and feel how soft her skin is. It's baby, buttery soft. And I'm telling you, she's taking that by the gallons. No, I'm kidding you. All right, I'm just kidding. Okay. I want to talk to you real quickly about memory, because I want you to know that as you age past the age of 50, your brain shrinks. Your brain shrinks 10%. You lose 10% of your brain. And you start to, now you wonder why you left a grocery on top of your car and drove off. And I mean, I know that you're writing notes to yourself, but I write notes to myself too. But I forgot where I put the darn things. You know what I do now? I put the sticky notes. I mean, this is my new thing. When I write myself a sticky note, you know, and I always forget that I have a sticky note. I mean, what's the point of writing it if you forgot that you got a sticky note to do something? You know what I do now? I paste it on my eye, right here on my glasses. Because that's the only way that I can remember. My brain is that, I mean, I'm just telling you about my problems. I'm not talking about you. I'm talking about me. And so what I'm telling you is that this is a real problem. Brain shrinks. Alzheimer's is at alarming epidemic problems. And all I'm trying to tell you is that there is a hormone called pregnenolone. I'm giving you a pearl. I'm giving you a real pearl of health. If you use pregnenolone, all you have to do is use 3 pumps to 5 pumps a day. Put it on your skin, and I'll tell you what, it's amazing. It's amazing because it'll take you back to when you were in your 30s, and you will have a prevention of your brain shrinkage. It is an amazing way of doing it. And the brain herbs here, I'm going to show you what they are. And the glycerophosphocholene, it's phenomenal because the brain cells uses glycerophosphocholene. It's made from this so that your memory gets better. I can tell you that this is a great way of which to help yourself. I want you to see this picture. Tell me, you've been to New York, right? Most of you. Okay. Look at that picture. Now look at this picture and tell me what is it that is in common. It's at night, and look at the lights. We don't have traffic. Everyone is talking about the fact that we don't have nights anymore. We don't have darkness anymore. And now light has been classified as a group A2 carcinogen. Because at night, some of you even sleep with the lights on. Some of you sleep with a little night light. Have you ever seen that little night light that you plug in and it leaves your room filled with light so that you don't have to trip? Well, guess what? It enters through your eyes and it stops the production of melatonin. And that's right, because here, published in a medical journal, Dr. Ritter, the head of the Department of the University of Texas, will tell you that melatonin suppression is a major, watch the word, major cancer risk. You know why? Because here, the epidemiological study shows that night shift workers have nearly twice the incidence of cancer. Night shift workers have major complications. Melatonin, produced by the pineal gland, is a powerful antioxidant. And it's not a hormone. There's another misnomer. It's not a hormone. You know what it is? It's an amine. It's a vitamin. It's an amine. It's not a hormone. And so what I want you to understand is that this is a very powerful, extraordinarily important hormone in your body. Here, I want to show you, just so that you see the research. Here it is, the growth of a breast cancer. MCF7 is a breast cancer. Growth of a breast cancer with no melatonin. As soon as you put melatonin, same growth, no cancer. I want to show you something else. These are the references so that you know it's not about Paul Tai. I am not here to tell you what to do. I'm here to show you the evidence, the scientific evidence. Here, look for yourself. This rat the two of them were implanted with the same cancer tumor. This one drank just water and food. This one drank water with a little bit of melatonin. Look at the size difference with melatonin and without. It's incredible. At night is when you actually recover from the stress of the day. It's when you knock down the cancer, because at night is when you deal with all of these toxics. Does that make sense to you? Because that's why it's so important that you get a good night's sleep. When you don't sleep well, one night you lose over 30% of your immune system. That's when you want to catch a cold, don't sleep well, stay up watching that television show, and guess what? Tomorrow your immune system will be down and you're going to catch that cold. So what I wanted to show you is the tumor, but I want to show you something else. Because you know this, without metastasis, you cannot die. Most cancer will not kill you if it's a single solitary tumor. Because if it is a single solitary tumor, you can surgically excise it and that's the end. But it's the metastasis that kills you. Guess what? Look. When you have no melatonin, the metastasis is growing. When you have melatonin, no metastasis. It's amazing. A little bit of melatonin, and I'm not talking about you taking orally melatonin. Use it transdermally, because I'd already told you, ladies, I'm going to give you another pearl. Melatonin is the most powerful antioxidant in the human body. Just take my word for it for this minute. But you will research it and you'll find that what I said to you was true. And you know what? If you put the melatonin cream on your face at night, not only are you preventing cancer, you are getting a better night's sleep because you get a better REM stage, but more importantly, you wake up sleeping beauty. You wake up with a beautiful skin. That's why I think it's absolutely phenomenal. Look at here, melatonin in cancer management, cancer research, published in a medical journal. If you can't sleep, you need to do something about it. And with the melatonin transdermal, you can sleep like a baby. I'm not suggesting that you don't use oral. It's okay, but I'm just saying to you, look, I'll show you another one. This is really good. One of the worst problems to have is when you get older is that you're going to have Alzheimer's. Because you're not going to know, you're going to live another 20 years and your family are going to have to take care of you and you're not going to know anything. There's no quality of life. You're dead, but you're just there, vegetating. And guess what? Look, I want you to see this. This is a normal cell. Look here, the spindles, you see how long they are? You see how the cells are? But when they have the beta peptide of the amyloid from the Alzheimer's, look at how they become round and they die. Can you see that? The difference? Okay, this is the same cells where we put a little bit of melatonin. But when we put a lot of melatonin, guess what? It goes back. It regenerates. Guys, this is the most phenomenal. I'm showing you research published in a medical journal. This is phenomenal. If you don't use these pearls that I'm giving you, it's going to be wasted. Your brain is going to be wasted. And what a real loss that is. Do you understand what I'm saying? So when I am so excited to show you how here the melatonin reduces the amyloid deposits as well as reduces the death of the cells in your brain. And brain cells, you don't want to die because they are permanent. It's phenomenal for you to be able to know. All of these come in my books. I have 14 books, but I only brought 4 of them for all of you. And just to commemorate all of you, because I just love chiropractic. I just love chiropractic. I wish I was a chiropractor. I'll tell you, this is the most incredible profession. Don't give up. Don't give up being different. Don't give up searching for new things for you to do. Don't give up being the doctor that you can be. Stop thinking only of some small thing. World is bigger. It is there for you. All the patients are there for you. And they are looking for you. They're looking for people who can actually help them. And there are so many natural ways, non-invasive ways. I can go on because this book is written specifically for all of you. And Sunday, I'm going to be showing you the technology of how to melt fat. I'm going to show you the before and after. I'm going to show you what it is to have the science. Sunday morning at 8 o'clock if you want. But these are all available for you, 70% discount. So take advantage of it if you like, because it's a really fun read. If you like to know more about how that you can actually be in anti-aging, I do a fellowship. My medical society actually have an 18 months fellowship on anti-aging where we are your mentors. Dr. Kelly Miller is a chiropractor and a naturopathic medical doctor that actually took one of my courses. So if you have any questions and you'd like to know more about it, speak to Dr. Miller. I want you to know that we are here, and the fellowship is available in clinical nutrition as well as in regenerative medicine. And I'm at the university. It's one of the largest universities in the world. I'm the chairman of the department for regenerative medicine. And we actually have a very large conference like this with over 50 international speakers at the university. And I want to invite all of you to São Paulo, Brazil. That's where the samba is. You get to dance all night and then sleep all day at the conference, right? It will just, kind of go into your brain anyway, so don't worry about it. So I want you to be invited to come to our conference. It's a very large university with extraordinary program for natural medicine. These are RMDs. But however, they only specialize in natural medicine, non-invasive approaches. So we are here at the booth, so if you have any question, I can promise you this. I'm very friendly. I don't bite. Besides, I've gotten my rabies shots already, so you don't have to worry. And if you come, and check out Catherine's skin, but also come in and speak with us. We are very happy to answer any questions. We're happy to also sit down with you if you have some health issues that you would like to talk with me about. We have a 15-minute free consult, so you can come and talk with us about it. And then I hope to see you, everyone, at Sunday at 8 o'clock for obesity and metabolic X syndrome treatments. Okay? Thank you very much for being here. You've been a phenomenal audience, and I really appreciate you.